Today we're talking about Guns N' Roses, the most dangerous band in the world. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's go back. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gen X Unfiltered, the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
Hey.
Oh, Eric kind of threw in a new little intro. That you have to do it. It's stuck.
That's my thing now?
That's what it is.
Well, we'll see what the people say. If they're like, hey, don't do that again. That's it. It's a one and done.
No, I think that has to stick. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
You're committed.
I'll have to put
It's your hey now.
every day.
Like we said in the title, today we were talking about probably one of Steve's favorite bands of all time.
Definitely up there, yes.
Guns and effing Roses. Ooh, was that badass?
Yes. Very badass.
You're such a badass rocker chick.
Full disclaimer, I obviously know Guns N' Roses. I know their songs, but that's where it kind of stops. Steve's the expert. Eric's probably second expert, and I am. So I was trying to be all like badass.
Well, I
with
think
the
everyone
vibe.
knows. I mean, they were.
Yeah.
They still are, but they were a massive band. So I think
Oh, yeah.
everyone pretty much knows something about Guns N' Roses. Knows probably at least Axl Slash.
But you're probably the super fan out of us.
Well, I'm a big fan of the fan from a long time. I know Eric listens to him too. Like I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of my first CDs were Guns N' Roses CDs actually.
Yeah. It was one of my first. Like tapes when I was kind of in like that. I want to say I was like 12 or 13. I think I got Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, okay.
Probably somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I've never owned any Guns N' Roses CDs. I can tell you the songs that I do know just because they used to play them at the bars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine, November Rain. That wasn't really a bar song, but they used to play that.
Not so much a bar song.
They used to play that on like the Much Music Countdown or something.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. That was a
Paradise City was a bop in the bar.
That's
as kids say.
a bop.
Yeah.
That's probably. I mean, you're gonna mention songs that I've probably heard of, but those are the three like main ones that I know.
Well, those are some of their like biggest ones by far. Yeah.
Like if they come on the radio, I'm like, ooh, I know that song. But otherwise.
Yeah, November Rain's been one that's more. It's a a little later, different sort of style, but that was a huge one for them. They had all those kind of videos back in the day, and
so that's kind of where my knowledge ends.
Yeah, they were probably arguably one of the biggest bands in the world at the time, maybe the biggest. Like they were. Oh yeah,
like late 80s, early 90s.
At the peak of their time, they were huge.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you can fill me in with the knowledge. How long when did they actually start? I know there were like.
Well, that's what I'm going to get
80s.
into. I was just kind of waiting for a little.
I was trying to segue.
Yeah. No, I did print up some notes here because yes, I do like Guns N' Roses, but I also want to make sure that I actually talk correctly and not just be like, so then Larry left the band and
Larry Rose.
I mean, you can say whatever you want to me, and I'd agree with you. But I know some.
Well, you may not know, but I think hopefully people listening might be like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?"
All right, Steve, take it away.
All right, so Guns N' Roses. Yeah. Again, whether this is self-described or the media, but the most dangerous band in the world. So Guns N' Roses often abbreviated as GNR or GNFNR.
That's a thing. I thought I just made it up.
That was on shirts.
Oh yeah, my buddy had a shirt back in the day that was on the back of it. Yeah.
So I'm not really badass. I just copied.
You were inspired by it. Maybe you saw a shirt once or something, but yeah, no, GNFNR. So yes, American rock band became one of the most popular and influential groups of the late 80s, early 90s. So formation early years was 85 to like 87. Guns N' Roses was formed in Los Angeles, California in March of 1985. So crazy, almost 40 years.
Damn.
That's crazy. The classic lineup included Axl Rose on vocals, guitarist Slash, rhythm guitar was Izzy Stradlin, bass Duff McKagan, and drummer Steven Adler.
I actually recognize some of those names.
Yeah, well, some of them we'll get in, but yeah, they're still around, the three of them, were their newest iteration, I guess, of the band. Their first live show was officially at the Troubadour in West Hollywood on June 6th, 1985. The band's name is a combination of two previous bands that members were part of, Hollywood Rose, which had Axl Rose and Izzy Stradlin, and LA Guns, which had the guy's name was Tracy Guns, who was in Guns N' Roses when they very first started, but he bailed sort of very early on before they even went on any sort of tours.
Oops. This sounds like a regret.
He was that guy. I feel like every major band has that guy.
It sounds like they're Pete Best almost.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I think he did some solos, like, I think as Tracy, or even as LA Guns, they kind of reformed at that time, but I clearly, no one really remembers him. So, blah, blah, blah. Early struggles. The band gained a reputation for their raw and energetic performances in the LA club scene, but they also faced issues such as drug abuse and lineup instability, which will come up
Shocker.
later on. Yeah, these guys were...
A mess. That's what I feel like.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
of them.
And like right out the gate too, like it's not like they kind of, as they got more famous, had issues, but they sort of started out like...
So they were volatile from the start. It wasn't like a result of success, basically, where they got into drugs and trouble and...
It just gave them, I think, more money to indulge in those things, but I think,
Okay.
yeah, a lot of them were like drugs, but lots of like, I think booze was a really bad one for them. And
drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
So basically the money just fed the monster that was already there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
you're all of a sudden given all this money and you just can spend it, and you're already doing that stuff
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
case, and then you're like making money and money and money and money, and it's like, ooh, we can actually get like, whatever we want.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, so like right off the bat, these guys were, they were, that's why some people say the whole dangerous band thing, because they were... Reading some interviews and books on them, they kind of looked at themselves almost like a gang of like 5 guys versus
Oh my
the world.
gosh, dude, you're like in a rock band. Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, especially back in the 80s and stuff like that, it's like glam rock and Hollywood. And so they were kind of the exact opposite of a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you had Poison.
I mean,
and like,
didn't he wear like mesh shirts though and bicycle shorts?
yeah,
his style was
later on,
different.
but
Yeah.
they
Just
were.
saying.
If you watch like the Welcome to the Jungle video, which is like their very first one,
Yeah.
Axl has like the teased up hair.
They're almost like a hair band when they start out.
A little bit,
like their
yeah.
look.
Like they're not as
Like,
full on into it. Like
Yeah.
you see some like Motley Crue and like
Yeah,
with,
exactly.
like
They're
the
wearing, like, lipstick
and
and
stuff like
stuff.
that. But they are
yeah.
sort of, they've got their toe in the water almost.
Guns N' Roses is a weird like group when I think about it. They're almost like a bridge group between like the hair bands and then like the grunge era of like the 90s.
Well, that's kind of what it was, because they were inspired by like punk and blues and stuff like that as well. But they definitely were more. They had more of. I always think they kind of had more of an edge to them. I think.
Yeah.
Like
They weren't as poppy as like
yeah,
Skid Row and some of those other hair bands.
yeah, I know exactly.
Or
So they
like
were
Bon
kind of,
Jovi.
Or Bon Jovi,
too.
yeah.
yeah, perfect. Like, they're like always
Kelly's
those
here.
guys
She
are like
dropped the name, all right.
I picture like those guys are like rock, whereas
Yeah.
like Guns N' Roses are more like a hard rock. Where
Yeah.
even this stuff. That, I mean, they were all kind of like they sing a lot about like drugs and stuff like that too, and
Girls and
girls and stuff like that. But more,
I think you
know.
had to in the 80s. It was just like,
Well, I think all. I mean, look at like even like Aerosmith, like a lot of
Yeah.
rock and roll is all about like girls and
partying.
can I
partying
just
and stuff
interject
like that,
quickly
yeah.
because
Sure.
I'm gonna forget to say this, but I think it's really funny for those of us for those of you guys watching the video. We're just gonna pop in a picture somewhere up here of when Steve and Eric dressed as Axl and Slash for Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
We
right.
did. Yeah.
That was
I know it's random.
quite a few years ago.
I know
Yeah.
it's random and out of nowhere, but I really think it's funny to put in this video, so I'm doing it now so I don't forget later. So enjoy, everybody.
So there's some pressure for editor Steve to find
That's
that
right.
picture.
Remember to find that video
You
photo
can
on
find it. I have
Facebook
it.
or Instagram or something like that. And we were the Use Illusion era.
And I'm not gonna
Axl and
lie,
Slash.
Yeah.
like they did really good. Like when they get in on costumes, like they go for all the details. I think Eric even had like the
chickened out on the
nose ring
bicycle
or
shorts.
something.
I
Did he have a nose ring? He had some sort of ring, lip ring. I don't know, but
No.
like they
He
go
did,
all in.
but I don't remember Eric.
I don't think I had
I'm
one.
pretty sure you did.
Maybe I did.
I don't.
Costume.
Honestly,
It was a long time ago.
Quite a while ago.
Well,
but-
there's the picture.
Okay, well look at the picture and we'll go back and reference.
That's right. Yeah. I'll have to
Yeah.
because I don't remember. I just know I was not going to wear the actual bicycle shorts. The actual World War. I'm like,
I know you kinda-
Nobody needs to see that.
You kind of pussied out.
No
on
one
that.
needs to see that. Actually, well, I remember my sister was a huge Guns N' Roses fan and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Ew.
But I was.
I'm not a fan of.
It
boys
takes a
in
big man to go in
basketball
front of 50,000 people in like the skimpiest,
Nut huggers.
tightest shorts you could possibly find. That's
Yeah.
I mean, again, like all power
balls.
to people, like wherever you want. But yeah, I mean, I just find it so crazy. Like, I mean, I get it. Maybe it's just whatever. But like all these, like the Bon Jovis and the Aerosmiths and all those people in the '80s bands. Like, I mean, I was
Yeah.
obviously young, so I wasn't of the age to admire them that way. But like, not my jam.
No, well, that's and that. I
Like,
mean,
just
you're just sort of,
no.
yeah, when you're a kid, you don't really think
I
like that
know.
or whatever. So,
And now looking
then-
back, although for me, Axl Rose has never really been
yeah,
high on my list of
no, okay, yeah.
This is not your style.
not my style.
No.
Probably because I think he's an asshole. But we'll get into that.
Well,
later.
that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
about-
exactly.
but yeah, okay. So anyway, so early struggles. Their first manager, Vicky Hamilton, discovered the band in a small club and offered to manage them after seeing their raw talent, and they eventually signed with Geffen Records, and that's who they were with. when
David
they put out-
Geffen?
That's right. Who actually had some pull with them. So, their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, was released on July 21st, 1987. It initially struggled to gain attention, but after the success of Sweet Child of Mine, it became a massive hit. That song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States making it the band's only song to top the charts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was their only chart-topping song. Like, well, the like huge hits they had on the Use Your Illusion albums.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess none of them did.
It's weird because, like, remember when we were doing the boy bit, like the NSYNC and Backstreet Boy ones? Like, they hardly had any top.
Yeah,
ones
no, that's
either.
always the surprising thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
They had like
weird.
one, I think, or two tops, like Backstreet Boys or
And like
NSYNC
the other
stuff.
one
Yeah.
didn't have any. Like, it's so weird when you hear stuff like that.
yeah, it makes me wonder like who actually got number one hits
Right?
back in the days.
Was it just-
was it all
Well,
Phil Collins?
Or like
Yeah.
one hit wonders.
Or
Or
I was
something?
going to say, it sounded, I think it's more stuff like that.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
the one-hit
yeah.
wonders
It's
that might
weird.
like pop off or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything sort of written about it, but so basically what I was reading about is that when Appetite for Destruction first came out, it did nothing. It got out, it just kind of...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a huge album, and I thought it was like right at the gates huge.
No, it wasn't really doing anything. It was kind of, you know, people were talking about whatever, but so David Geffen, they got him involved, and he reached out to MTV and was like, play Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, that song I know too.
That was their first single. He convinced them to play it like in the like off hours in the middle of the night or whatever. Like they had like their hard rock hour, I guess. And he convinced them to play Welcome to the Jungle. And then it started to take off. That people started seeing like, oh, who are these guys? Like the hard rock metal fans kind of started to dig it.
All
Yeah.
the ragers who are up at night.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it kind of started for him. And
Yeah.
then Sweet Child of Mine came out, which is obviously much more like a power ballad, you know?
Yeah.
And then that like, you know, obviously had way more crossover appeal to men, women, whatever.
Yeah,
That's the one that like
Can I ask a question?
really blew it up.
sure.
Yeah.
What is Sweet Child of Mine about? A girl? I thought it was about a child.
No, I think
Not
it's
gonna
about.
lie.
I believe Axl Rose wrote about his wife, Erin Everly.
Oh.
It's definitely about a girl, though. You're
Yeah,
right.
I think it's
yeah.
about. I'm pretty sure it's his first wife, because he was married there,
Oh.
like back in like the one of the Everly brothers' daughters.
Really.
Yeah, Erin Everly. They were married in like 91,
She
90.
definitely went for a guy in music, but not a guy like her dad.
Yeah,
that's for
yeah.
sure.
I mean,
no,
like,
I know.
Yeah.
But so
I said
I'm positive it was about his wife. or maybe it was a girlfriend at the time, but it was Erin Everly. Was her
I
name.
listened to a lot of the songs, but like I never actually paid attention to the lyrics. So
Really? Yeah, no.
I thought
She's
it was
got
about
eyes
a
of the
baby.
bluest skies.
Oh, that makes sense. Now that it's
Yeah,
clicking.
no, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a love song. It really is. It's
Yeah.
him singing about his girlfriend.
But
Or,
why
like,
is he saying "Sweet Child of Mine"? It's weird.
I don't know.
It's like it's like a pet name.
Yeah.
Like you know, people call each other like baby and honey and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's just something like that. It's just a
I
term of
don't
endearment.
want
It's
any
not
adult calling me a child. That's weird.
Well, I'm sure
yeah.
it fit the lyrics, and
I'm just being
it made him
like
the number one song. So I'm guessing he knew what he was doing.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to create discussion because I don't know. These are the
Yeah.
weird things that go into my brain. Is I'm like that doesn't make any sense, but clearly it doesn't matter. It was popular. It worked. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I think it made me overthink things too much. That
Well, yeah,
like,
obviously I do. That's how my brain works.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Why do you think my brain
just
never
derails
sleeps?
conversations.
I'm adding some oomph.
But so yeah, so that was their big one. Was the Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah.
So the album eventually, Appetite for Destruction, eventually reached number one on the Billboard 200 and has sold over 30 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling debut album of all time. Other hit singles include Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City.
Oh, so all those songs I know were on that album.
That
Yeah.
album was massive. I mean, like,
I think it's citable. I didn't think
Yeah,
it was actually the biggest selling debut album of all time.
Yeah.
So they
But-
peaked right off the gate.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like that album was,
Yeah.
it was massive for them. Yeah. Like they could have never done anything other than that and been fine.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's one of those albums I listened, like it was one of the first kind of tapes I remember buying. I remember listening to it all the time.
I heard a story about Welcome to the Jungle. I don't know if you heard this one as well, but like where Axl got the title from.
Yeah, go
Bus
ahead.
driver.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess when he first got to LA, correct me if I'm wrong, like if the details are a little off here, but
Yeah.
he first got to LA on a bus, and the bus driver was like when Axl was like getting off the bus, I believe, or getting on. Either way, he was exiting the bus, and the driver said, "Welcome to the jungle,"
you're gonna
and
die. Yeah,
True.
and that's where he got the title from.
Don't
Yeah.
they call it the concrete jungle? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's New York. I don't know.
well, especially going from like I'm trying. I don't, we're not really gonna get into their backstories of all the members,
Yeah.
but like I think he was from Indiana, Axl Rose.
Oh.
You know, so, like,
he wasn't from LA.
No, none of these guys are all transplants.
That's
I think
what I
like
thought, yeah.
because I'm pretty sure like just quickly so Izzy and Axl were friends in Indiana. I know that for sure. Duff I think came from Seattle. Slash is from England. And Steven Adler, I think, might be from LA. I'm not sure.
I mean,
to be
I'm
honest,
not
I
going to
forget now, but
lie. They didn't really give off the LA born and bred vibe.
no.
I had no idea
well,
Slash is from England. Like,
originally, yeah.
Does he have an accent?
I was just gonna say, I don't.
No.
I
Like,
didn't
think
hear an
he-
accent on that guy. When
maybe
he-
he
No, I
was
think he
a baby.
Yeah, I think he was like
Okay.
younger when he came over because I think going to do some research, then he moved from they lived in Cleveland with his mom.
Yeah.
And his parents separated, and that's when they moved to L.A. Because his mom was like I can't remember. I can't remember if she was a fashion designer or did album covers for like bands.
She was an artist.
But so she would David Bowie like was friends with her and stuff like that. So like Slash kind of grew up around musicians and stuff like that when he was a kid, and then got into like obviously playing the guitar and stuff like that, and so yeah, it's kind of interesting all these stories. But yeah, so they ended up meeting up in L.A. and Axl Rose says that's how he got it, was that someone told him.
Imagine the bus driver says that to you, like,
yeah, welcome to jungle, baby, you're gonna die.
I'd want to cut though.
I'd want to get back on the bus and go home.
Well, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
like, where the hell am I?
Axl's like,
bring it on. I'll take on the jungle.
Well, I think like everybody, right? When you want fortune and fame, what did most people do? They had Hollywood, right?
Yeah, the LA
Whether
music scene was huge.
LA, or you want to be an actor or whatever. Like most people end up going down there.
I just don't think Axl was the type of guy to be dissuaded by a bus driver saying "Welcome to the." He was probably like, "Rock on, let's go."
Probably, yeah. Who knows?
That's probably exactly what he said. Rock on, bro.
I couldn't be as badass as I was trying to be there. I was more surfer boy.
I know. You're California. That's so surfer
you're in
boy.
the right vicinity, yeah.
Like I'm trying to add some spice.
Just a different scene, I guess. Not the surfer scene, though. The rock scene.
Yes. Steve just looked at me really weird.
No, I think he's waiting to hear what comes out of your mouth next.
No, I just waited to see. But to read the next point, I just waited to see if it was...
that's okay. Go ahead.
So to start onto this, and then they had I'm not going to get into this, obviously they toured and all that stuff. Yeah. Their second album was GNR Lies. So this one actually
Lies or Live?
Lies. Ooh. So this one was sort of a weird sort of hodgepodge, because before they put out Appetite for Destruction, they released like a 4-song demo called Live Like a Suicide, which I think what I was reading is just kind of, they put it out as like because they were going to go record an album, so while they were kind of off the scene, people could still listen to them. Mm-hmm. So a lot of all those songs ended up on
Appetite?
On GNR, no, on
Lies.
That's where like Mama Kid and stuff comes from on there.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, it's an Aerosmith song they did a cover of.
Oh, that's why I know it then, because it's
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
But Patience is on that album, right?
Yeah. Patience. That's I think that's like the only real big song that came off of that.
Really? And that's like a ballad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a super like ballad.
I like that
there's
song.
but it's all acoustic and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh. So the second album, which usually I feel like even
the
when
sophomore Jinx.
Well, even when we were talking about Bon Jovi, it was sort of the same thing, because I think it's so hard to replicate that instant hit like they all had in the first one.
Yeah.
I think
the expectations are so high.
I think the biggest thing is you have years to develop that first album, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing,
and
where
like, boom, money.
You can spend as much time as you want on your first album. The second one, like it's
like do the same thing you did that took you years to like perfect. Do that in like 6 months.
Well, that's why, like I said, so with GNR Lies, so like I said, in 1998, the band released GNR Lies, which included acoustic songs and tracks from their earlier EP, Live Like a Suicide. The song Patience was the biggest hit from that album. But I think that's why they kind of took some songs they already had, some new songs, and just kind of, because their next big real album was like Use Illusion.
Yeah.
Junior Lives is just kind of like that, like, almost like even like Nirvana had Incesticide.
Bleach? Or no, Incesticide. Yeah.
That, right, where that came out before In Utero, which is kind of like their next full album.
Full studio
like the
album,
bridge album.
It's like you're putting something out just to, you're
keep yourself
obviously
relevant.
super famous, super popular. You want to keep making money.
Yeah.
So Lies
keep
is kind of
relevant.
that, like, keep you out there. You put some new songs, maybe some stuff that you recorded for your first album that weren't quite good enough or whatever.
Yeah. Where now people give it a chance.
Yeah, exactly. So Lies is that one. So did you guys have Lies? I definitely had that album too.
No, this is where you're more of a GNR fan than I am.
Yeah.
I had like the big albums. I had Appetite for Destruction and Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lies wasn't bad. Like I said, that really was just Patience was the only, I think that was the only actual song that came out on there, like to any sort of fanfare. And that's the one that did a video for.
I like that song.
Yeah, it was super catchy with all the whistling and stuff like that.
It's a good tune, yeah.
Props to actually, he's a really good whistler. Like, man, oh man. Like,
people give him credit.
That's a really random, like, accolade.
Well, no, but listen, like, in Civil War, he whistles on that too. Like, he whistles on a bunch of them. It's like...
Is he actually whistling?
Yeah. Yeah, you watch some concert footage.
Oh, okay.
It's legit him whistling.
This is before auto-tune, man. Like, it's him.
Right.
That's right. You couldn't just fake it. You had to...
I'm just asking.
Go all in.
Yeah, I mean, I know. It's not that I don't believe you. I mean, go Axl.
I don't think you believe. I think you're like, you sound like you're a doubter.
You're a good whistler, I guess. It's weird.
No, but listen to the Patience. The whole first, first like not 2
I'm
minutes.
Just being, okay, look, this is why it's funny to me. Like, whatever, that's good that he's a good whistler, but it's this like hardcore, like rock and roll guy, and he's
definitely
no, but wait, it's like hardcore rock and roll, scream at the top of your lungs. but he's a really good whistler. It just
You know, my
sounds
favorite part of
funny.
Patience is a really good song. It's like when it kind of slows down and you think it's like the end of the song, but then it picks back up at the end. And there's kind of like the whole band gets like a chorus
Ooh,
together.
I love those
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
That do
Yeah.
that.
Well, when you see them, they do it
And then
live.
there's like a bit of a sing along at the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know I never got to see and that's something we can talk about. Like I
Well,
never
yeah.
saw the original lineup of Guns N'
why
Roses
not?
live. Because I wasn't allowed to go. Thanks, Mom. My sister went. She said I was too young. I was 13. Yeah, must have been 13. My mom didn't
I
want
mean,
me
I'm not
go.
going to lie. I feel like you probably would have been the more responsible one to go versus your sister.
Probably, yeah. I actually would have
You
left.
could have kept them in line.
Yeah, so my sister saw them at Cops Coliseum in Hamilton,
And
Ontario.
didn't they
Oh,
riot
man.
the shit out of that place?
No.
Oh, okay. That's why you couldn't go, because the previous concerts they did.
Or they had in Montreal.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the next.
But
it
that's,
was,
well, whatever. But that's why your mom didn't
Yeah.
want you to go.
yeah.
But
yeah.
somehow she didn't care letting your sister, who was 3 years older, go. Okay.
If she was more responsible, I guess. Yeah, I still
Really?
have the tour
Tour book.
tour book. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. My sister bought it.
Well, that's nice of her.
She didn't buy it for me. Though.
Oh!
I just kept it. I just kept it when my parents
I
had
thought
it.
she-
You stole it. I can't have the concert. I'll take the book.
I thought she brought it home for you because she couldn't go.
No.
Oh.
She did buy me a T-shirt though.
Well, okay. See,
She had
that's
to buy
nice.
it.
Okay,
T-shirt.
see, there you go.
But I remember the next day at school, all the kids showing up who went to the concert wearing those shirts. I'm like, so I had my shirt. They're like, "What'd you think of the show?" I'm like, I wasn't allowed
Do
to
you
go.
still bring that up to your mom?
Yeah, well, I always remember moments like you can see them next time they come through. So sure as shit, when they came through like 20 years later, I went. Maybe it wasn't 20 years, probably 15. I
Oh,
guess.
you went
Yeah.
you've been like 5 or 6 times since.
You've
Well,
seen like
yeah, I've seen them a
two
couple
different
times
lineups,
now.
really, right?
Yeah. We saw them.
You saw
that
the
weird
Buckethead version.
Yeah, that sort of Chinese democracy.
Yeah.
just Axl Rose one, and then the,
The
Not in This Lifetime
the full
tour.
reunion,
Or the-
basically.
the Not in This Lifetime.
Didn't you
one.
guys
Yeah.
just see Slash too or something?
Yeah, you and I went and saw Slash's
Snake Pit.
Or no, was
I thought it was Slash Snake Pit.
was it Snake Pit or Miles Kennedy? Yeah, is that what it's? I forget
I
now.
think
Yeah,
it was Snake Pit.
it was right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Miles
feel like
Kennedy.
I feel like it was Snake Pit if that's the word Eric said. Like it would be a random word for
Yeah.
him just to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot, but I
No,
remember
it was-
Snake Pit.
I just couldn't remember his Slash with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators or Slash's Snake Pit. I don't remember.
I don't.
Okay.
Well, you didn't say
It
the
was
other
Slash.
one.
It was
Yeah.
definitely Slash. I just
Yeah.
because he had a few
Yeah.
things that he did it because Miles Kennedy was the singer for them and stuff,
Right.
and he was actually a really good singer. He sounded better. He sounds better than Axl Rose does now.
Oh, for shame from a big fan like you.
Well,
Axl
poor
Rose
Axl,
has.
I feel
Poor-
He has an
It-
ass voice. I'm sorry.
It's rough watching Axl now. Like,
he's
I'm sorry.
like a lot of these guys. I mean, you get
Yeah.
and you watch him from Muse Illusion and stuff like that. Their live shows, like
Yeah.
well, I mean, he's screaming.
well,
his vocal
voice
cords
went
have
through
to
like
be.
he could just
yeah,
used his throat like
his style of singing, it's not for longevity.
no,
Can
it's
I-
You're gonna burn out.
Yeah.
You know.
Can I interject with my concert experience with them because you all dragged me to go to the one that wasn't
Sure.
even the real Guns N' Roses. It was just Axl Rose and the guy who wore the stupid KFC bucket on his head.
Buckethead.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, it was at was it at Air Canada Center or Skydome? One of the two.
Air Canada Center.
Canada Center. And yeah, it was like it was a school night. It was a work night.
we live in
Yeah.
Toronto, so they always
And-
come here on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You never get the weekend shows here.
And
No.
so, the show starts at 8, 9, 10, 11. The asshole doesn't come out yet. He's doing it on purpose.
No, I knew going in. I
Everybody's
remember
screaming.
he specifically
Yeah.
told you beforehand, I'm
Ugh.
like, we can't take the train in. We're gonna have to. All of us are gonna have to drive
I
because we're
was
gonna miss
so
the train
mad.
because he's not gonna show up till 11. He's doing
Yeah.
it every show.
It was
Yeah.
like midnight. I'm like, dude, don't you know that your core base of fans are old now?
Yeah.
He thinks it's 1991 still at
No,
this point
it's
in his
not.
head.
We're not
Yeah.
Where
teenagers.
he can show up whenever and it's fine.
We got to
Yeah.
go to our little office jobs the next day, okay?
I kind of feel like he was just doing it because it was like his thing. Because like I said,
Yeah.
everything I was reading was like every
know.
show he started like 2 hours late.
But
so
I
it's
feel like that bit got old for people.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
It's
it's
just-
totally disrespectful to your fans. I don't
Yes.
care
Oh,
who
yeah.
you are, whatever band.
It's
like,
awful. Like
Yeah.
You
things
know.
happen and a concert gets delayed, whatever. But like if this is your bit, like that's just effing
well,
rude.
not even that, but there's like you pay fines, like regardless of what we
Oh,
say.
they
like,
don't
he-
care.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like he can just do this. Like,
No,
there's
because-
unions, dues. You know, you got to pay union workers and
Overtime.
all
Well,
stuff,
but not
overtime,
only
and there's
that, but they're
bylaws and stuff
but
like that too. So it's the
They're probably obviously renting out the facility,
Yeah.
and the facility probably has an event the next day they have to get ready for, so
Yeah.
they're gonna have to pay major fines.
oh
for
yeah,
that to
no,
happen.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like you can just show up late. Like, there's lots of financial repercussions as well. But as
That's
a
like-
fan, it sucks because
no, it's annoying.
you want to take public transit because you want to have a couple beers, but it's like, hey, that last train it's going to be in the middle of their show.
The show, yeah.
It was so long that I remember sitting there, and it was so noisy because people were getting angry and yelling.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the chair, and I was so tired because it was already a work day, and it was already almost midnight. And I'm literally sitting there with all this noise, and I remember like actually falling asleep sitting in the chair. I was like, I just want to go home, but I couldn't because it was midnight and there's no public transportation.
But I still remember being a pretty good concert. I mean, it was just Axl, but I still enjoyed it.
The KFC bucket on his head, that was weird.
Yeah, I know. That was
I don't remember much of that concert after that. I mean, I'm sure obviously he played his popular songs. I remember him trying to prance around like he was like in his 20s, but didn't really hit quite the same.
Yeah, he kind of ran out of breath, but that's, he tried. He tried.
Yeah.
Because he's a little like bloated ear now, and
Now he's pushing 60.
Look, I mean, I give it to him. He still goes out there and tries his hardest to rock like he did. And even if he can, it doesn't seem to matter because he has diehard fans that want to see him for nostalgia's sake. But just don't be late.
Was Buckethead actually the guitar player when we were there? I don't even remember.
I can't remember either. I think he may have been.
I want to know.
I know he was there for a while and then they replaced people, and I honestly don't remember.
I just want to know, how did that, where do you just sit and be like, you know what, I'm going to have a bit, and my bit's going to be wearing a KFC bucket on my head? Like, who comes up with that?
I heard, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I read an article that thought that he did it basically to like trash Slash. So the bucket head was supposed to be like Slash's top hat.
Well, I know that's what, yeah.
And basically he's like, Slash was such a like, his thought was Slash was like not a good guitar player. So he's like, basically any faceless guitarist could play Slash's songs.
Yeah.
Okay, then just wear a mask. The bucket was dumb.
Oh, he did wear a mask too. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing. You can see his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well then don't wear the bucket. It's dumb. I die on the hill that the bucket was
No,
stupid.
it's the whole thing you read about the guy, like he would talk about, like it was the whole weird persona.
So what did
no one knows who he actually is.
So
like,
what did Axl Rose just pick him? Just like,
well, no, he's a really good guitar player.
no,
He
but
could have actually been Slash for all we know.
I mean, whatever.
Wouldn't that be the plot to it?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
But it was a weird thing. You read this, like the Bumblehead or Buckethead,
Yeah.
like he would talk about like he was born like raised like in a chicken farm and all that. Like,
I
it was
mean,
a very strange thing.
probably
Weird guy.
was with the whatever. Again, I don't know.
So yeah, some people think it was a big FU to Slash.
Yeah.
But this
But
is
then
like
that's
this guy's.
mean.
But this was like this guy's character though. So like before this, so who? The
Well,
hell
I don't
knows?
care
Like,
if it's when he was with Axl or not. His whole character is just weird. I
No,
mean,
no,
no
it's a
offense to any
very-
Buckethead fans out there, but it was just weird. Maybe I
it's
just
a
don't.
very strange.
Maybe I just don't get it. But
Yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, I mean, I think he was. Yeah, but he's just, whoever he is, he's also like I think he's like a really highly regarded guitar player.
Clearly,
Yeah.
he's good, or else
Yeah.
whatever.
But
But,
a very unique.
just my own
unique
personal
look.
opinion.
Kind of like almost like what's his face from Limp Bizkit, West Borland.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the weird costumes and stuff like that.
weird.
Face paint and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
very strange. But yeah, he had like the white mask and the KFC bucket. It was
I hope
interesting,
KFC was.
so-
I mean, I know it wasn't literally a KFC bucket,
no,
but
it literally was.
was it? Well, then I hope he was getting. Was
Yeah.
he getting money from them?
Oh,
Dummy.
who the hell knows? I'm gonna guess. I can't imagine KFC being like, yeah, sure, we'll sponsor
Sounds
you
great.
for that.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm surprised KFC did. Ooh, I'm surprised KFC didn't try and sue him for having a bad image
With
with
the
their
Colonel
brand.
after him. Uh-oh.
I
Big
didn't
trouble.
know it was
The
actually.
Colonel's a Slash fan.
I didn't know it was actually a KFC bucket. I just thought it looked like a KFC bucket.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure actually the KFC logo on it. and
The
stuff.
plot thickens.
Yeah.
Oof.
Anyways, who gives a shit about Buckethead?
Hey, I have my opinion.
No, but he was saying in terms of Guns N' Roses, he was
Yeah.
a blip on the radar. The biggest thing that was happening was the Use Your Illusion era, 1991 to 1993. I remember this very well.
Oh, yeah.
On September 17th, 1991, the band released 2 albums simultaneously, which right there was kind of a weird move, right?
It wasn't a double album, which is weird.
it wasn't like I'm trying to think about it, but like
Melancholy.
yeah, the Smashing Pumpkins, Milk
Yeah.
the sound was like a double album. But this was like 2 separate CDs,
Yeah.
or tapes, I guess, at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they released them simultaneously. Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Both albums debuted at the 2 top spots in the Billboard 100. So I remember when those came out. I remember I was in Montreal visiting my grandmother. We were at the mall, and I remember walking by, and we bought them. I bought them at the store there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought them both right off the bat.
Did you?
oh, man.
Did you buy them both?
Yes, I did. Did you? Buy
No,
both? That's what I was getting at.
see?
It's like
Okay, I was just
I bought Use Your
teasing.
Illusion 2 first, I think. Whichever one had November Rain on it. I bought that one first. I think that was
That
2.
was 1, I think.
Was it 1?
I was
pretty sure it was
just
1.
teasing because the way you said that, you sounded like you had reverted right back to that time when you got them, and you sounded so so it was just a fun little weird. I think your memory made you kind of go back in time.
Yeah, no, I still remember walking through Carrefour Laval, the mall in Beaconsfield or wherever it is in Montreal,
Oh, man.
and seeing it there. I was like, it's out.
There it is. I must have both.
Yeah, so I bought them both, and I mean, there's a ton of good songs on both of those. So the albums included sort of here it says, and that was the biggest thing too. Like it was a completely different sort of sounding band than Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah.
You know, at that point they had like November Rain, like these ballads
Pianos.
with like, pianos and like symphonies, like violins and strings and all this stuff. Like it was, you know, the band changed a lot in terms of their sound. So here it says, yes, these albums include a broader range of musical styles, incorporating elements of blues, classical, punk rock, November Rain, Don't Cry, and Civil War. Some of the big
I know
songs.
those 2 songs.
And they were long songs, too. Some of these songs were like 8-9 minutes.
The Strange was
Yeah.
long, wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually have it on here. It's, where is it?
Let's fill the dead air.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out where that
Okay.
went.
You can just cut this part.
Oh yeah, you can.
Maybe I don't have, maybe I took it out.
But this is more fun.
There's
BTS.
too much shit on these notes.
Well, you'll come to it,
Yeah, it doesn't
fine.
matter.
Yeah.
or somebody will let us know.
Yeah, no, it was like 9 minutes long, I think it was. When we watched the video, too, like, it was
It's
massive.
a long time.
Oh
for a
man,
song.
the videos from that album, I remember them being huge. Like every single one was like tons of play on Much Music here in Canada.
Oh, yeah, they were
Yeah.
massive. The trilogy of...
the baby MTV.
That's right.
Oh,
The
don't
trilogy, though.
let's not get
of,
people triggered here again.
Don't Cry, Estranged, and November Rain. There's sort of all three of them were supposed to like sort of tell a story there.
Yeah.
that- honestly, I still don't even know what that story is. I mean,
There was a
it's-
wedding.
There was a wedding.
The bride died.
Well, that's in November Rain, but I don't know
Yeah.
how it connects to like Don't Cry, where like Axel's dead and like the baby and his
Maybe because
rebirth
it was
and-
after the wedding, and then the marriage sucked, and he died. His soul died, and he came. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you could probably Google and read it, but there were some pretty elaborate videos. Like in Estranged, remember he jumps off the ship, the tanker ship, and then
Into
the
the water
dolphins
there?
pull him away, and like
Yeah.
you know, there's like helicopter. No, Don't Cry. They had like helicopters on the roof and stuff like that. And
Yep. And there's a helicopter shots. I'm pretty sure it's helicopters in November Rain too, and Slash is out playing the guitar at the chapel
yeah,
in
that's
the
right.
desert.
They have all those
That is
crazy,
such
Yeah.
an like 80s rock or 90s rock band move.
Oh yeah, having the helicopter swoop by and coming
Oh,
up for
yeah.
the big sweeping shot.
But having you on like a hill or in the desert rocking out on a guitar with the wind blowing.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
It's very,
a pretty
It's a pretty epic
it's a
scene.
super elaborate video.
Yeah.
Like it's and Stephanie
Stephanie Seymour.
Seymour's
Yeah.
was his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
So she's a supermodel too, and
I just remember the November Rain dress being like the thing.
yeah, that weird like super like high crotch like wedding dress in the front where you could see her legs and like that massive like
Yeah,
train in
train.
the back and stuff like that.
It was like
Yeah.
a mini skirt.
Yeah, it was a kind of a I don't know.
It was a look.
It was definitely
Hey, people have replicated it.
really.
But some people have
Oh,
had like, an
I'm
updated
sure they
version
did,
of
but
it.
it's
Yeah.
definitely the style. You got to have, you know, the right style to rock it. It's
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else, and I was going to get mad at you. You saved yourself. I feel like you were going down there, and then you're like, "Ooh, I
it's
won't."
definitely
I get
it's definitely a vibe that's
yes.
It's I can't imagine it being very easy to pull off. Just like if I tried to rock Slash's top hat, I would look like a moron.
Yeah, you would.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
Very few people can wear that without looking.
Yeah.
You know,
She was in two of the videos, right? She was in Don't Cry and then November Rain. Was she in a
I think she was
Strange?
doing Strange too. Yeah, there's
Okay.
some scenes where they're like in like the Rainbow Room. They're in a bar, sort of.
I remember she gets in a fight with another girl. She gets jealous. That's Don't Cry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's scenes of them. Do you remember in Estranged, Slash is doing that solo where he's like going down the street,
Vaguely.
and it's like he's almost like on a people mover.
okay.
And there's scenes in there, I think, where they're like all in a bar, like
okay.
at one of the bars there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's in there as well.
Yeah.
So I think she was in all three of them.
Okay.
Pretty sure. And that's the one too. Like I said, I remember in Don't Cry. If you watch the scene where Axl Rose is like in like the therapist office, or
Yep.
maybe it's like in the mental hospital. I don't even know. But he has a Nirvana hat beside him.
Oh yeah. I remember talking about this in the
we
Nirvana
talked about the Nirvana
podcast.
fan,
Yeah.
But he was a big Nirvana fan, so that was always kind of a thing. It's like, look,
Yeah.
you know, before they were kind of the Nirvana we all knew, they
Yeah.
were still kind of on that up and coming.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of funny to see that now.
It's so crazy because Kurt wanted nothing to do with Guns N' Roses.
Well, it's funny because I mean, I've read interviews with like Slash and stuff like that, where like, you know, he was like, you know, on the Users in tour where like there's pianos coming out of the ground and like
yeah.
all these backup dancers and like horn players and stuff like that.
A
It's like,
huge production
this isn't what Appetite was, where it was just five guys just
in a rock
playing
band.
rock music.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of like more that's
Yeah.
what I want to do. But it's harder though too. I mean, most bands are like that. You kind of start to evolve.
They have to
a bit.
evolve, especially if they want to be around for a while, right?
Well, you need to kind of grow, right? It's like anything, like any
Yeah.
band, it's going to change and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
I don't know what you're thinking there, Kelly. You're pretty.
I have no idea what you're talking. I mean, I obviously know, but I don't know
Yeah.
any of those details of things, so I have no comments
Okay.
to say. I mean, honestly, I really
but,
don't.
But you listen to like November Rain versus like Welcome to the Jungle. Like they're sort of two.
Well, yeah, I mean,
totally
they
different
are
bands almost.
They're different. I mean, I only ever like I don't, and this is just full honesty, and it's fine. It's just what it is. But I mean, it's not like I'm ever like, ooh, I really am in the mood to listen to Guns N' Roses songs. The only time I ever listen to those songs is either if I'm somewhere and they play them, or
Yeah.
if you're like whatever. Like, so I mean, I don't really have any like connection or thoughts on.
Okay,
songs
no, but I'm not
specifically.
asking. I just meant like, but
know.
I'm saying like, you can probably agree that
Well, yeah, they're completely
they
different.
sound a lot. Their sound changed a lot over the course
Well, yeah,
of those couple of years and stuff like
I
that.
mean, I think it's like any band, though. Like, I mean, just going on things we've talked about, like, look at Bon Jovi. They were, I mean, they changed from
Well, I
their
think you have
first
to.
whatever.
And that's where I think a lot of
Because let's be real, like the 90s, for this sort of era of like whatever they're classified as, rock bands or whatever, but like that's when they kind of all got like sort of, they had more of the like lovey ballads and like all that. It was just sort of that like era. I don't know. It just wasn't like the 80s hardy rock type stuff. It was a little bit more like.
No, and that's the thing. They kind of it's definitely you're kind of losing that. Like by that point, like the early '90s, like that, like you still like Motley Crue, and those guys were around, but they were kind of on the way out. All of that stuff.
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean-
glam rock was kind of not so cool anymore.
Well, but like think about it. It was like
No.
Aerosmith around that time. They had all their kind of like. They were still like rock songs, but they weren't the like,
no,
uh.
yeah. Well, even
I
Aerosmith,
don't
they've
know
always
how to
been
say
sort of more of a bluesy
Right,
rock.
but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like,
Yeah.
it was just sort of that era. Like, the early 90s, it was all, like, here again, much music. We had the countdowns, and it was
Yeah.
all those types of those songs. Like, it wasn't, like, necessarily the, I mean, I know it was older, but I mean, it wasn't, like, Sweet Child of Mine was playing on it. It was, like, the different types of songs. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just feel like it
I
was a
don't know.
different, like, it was more of, like, a softer time.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're gonna disagree with me because they're more into the music. I'm just saying from my own experience and my limited sort of exposure to different music, because I'm not a huge music person, so I don't have a plethora of, exposure to different bands and stuff. So that's all.
But at this point in time, like I think the band was like huge, obviously.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like, but I still think they still had a good like sense of humor about themselves. Like one of my favorite songs on that album is "You Could Be Mine,"
yeah.
and the music video for that, I love that
was
music
huge.
video.
Well, that was massive for Terminator 2, which is
Yeah.
like a massive movie.
huge
and-
movie. Like, and that song was awesome on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then in the music video, like they have Arnold Schwarzenegger coming in. He's like hunting the band through the whole video,
yeah.
right? And at the end, he like sees the band in the alleyway, right? Like this is Arnold's chance to get them, right?
Yeah.
And then he with his like a Terminator vision, he's like doing like this stats on all of them and stuff, and it
Yeah.
pops up when he gets Axel in his sights and he's like waste of ammo.
That's right,
And I'm
yeah.
like, so the band, like even they still have a good sense of humor with themselves, right?
Yeah,
They
it
weren't, like,
didn't seem like they could
yeah,
take themselves too seriously.
yeah.
I think my problem is with like, I think I'm too like, what's the word? I don't know. I just get too like, I said, there's no denying they have some good songs and stuff like that, and they're a good band, and good like Out at the Bar, Paradise City comes on, you can't help but dance. But I just think he's a raging asshole, and that just makes me not care about anything about them.
No, I mean, there's a whole bunch of
He
stuff
bugs
you
me.
read about too, like whether potentially he might be like bipolar and
Well,
stuff
I
like
mean-
that. Like
Oh,
there was
yeah.
stuff like
Look,
that were manic depressive
let
and
me
stuff.
just-
So I don't know.
Right, let
what's
me
all
just
going on there. But
let me just disclose them by say, like, obviously, if there's actual mental issues
Yeah.
that are, or medical issues, whatever, that's one thing. I get that, whatever. But I'm just saying the whole, like, I don't know, maybe I just get personally attached to when people are idiot or mean. And I just don't like
Yeah.
it. It makes
No,
me
no,
mad.
no.
It makes me just like,
it's a thing. Some people can't separate the person from the artist.
no,
Yeah.
and like I just think like I mean he was obviously, I don't know about now, but he was obviously heavily intoxicated for a big portion of time, and I think egos get in the way.
surprisingly, that's the one. Axl Rose, no.
Okay,
he
well,
was the
whatever.
one guy that, and no, I'm just saying, but he was the one guy of that band that really didn't have any substance abuse issues.
Well, good for
he
him.
kind of wasn't his thing.
That's
But-
shocking. I figured for sure he'd be like into like
No, like, I
all the
think
hard
he-
drugs of the scene that time.
It was mostly the other guys.
But just let me finish my point really
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah, no, sorry, I just wanted
that's
to-
okay, and that's fine. I mean, good for him. It's like John Bon Jovi. He didn't do any of that stuff hardly. It was
Or-
the other band.
yeah,
like
he-
limit. I mean, let's be real. I'm pretty sure they had a sip of drink at some point, but they just
Yeah.
weren't getting carried away. And like I said, I know I've heard things about there being bipolar or manic depressive or all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that very well could be the case. And if it is, hopefully he's being treated for that, because it's horrible to. But at the same time, I just think too, with most bands, I mean, even Bon Jovi, who I actually really like, but ego gets in and you just think that you're like God, and everybody, it does. Hey, I can be 3 hours late. People can be so pissed off, but you know what? Their asses are still going to be in that seat waiting, and they're still going to buy my merch. They're still going to buy my CDs. They're still going to, like, you know what I mean? And I think that that's a natural human, it's just natural, right? But I don't know. I think that just like I don't know, like how those like riots that happened at concerts, was that just the fans rioting? Like why?
Well, that was, so I was going to get into that in a second.
But I just kind of like, was it like...
No, it was... So if you already watched the footage, so basically what happened was, they were in the middle of, I think they were like 4 songs in, someone's taking Axl's photo from the crowd and he gets pissed off.
This is in Montreal, right?
No, this is in Detroit.
Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it was in Detroit. It was in the States though, but yeah, so they're taking pictures of Axl. He gets pissed off. And so you literally watch the footage and he's like, if you guys aren't going to take that camera away from him, I will.
Nope,
so he jumps in the crowd, sucks the guy in the face.
Right there. You asshole. You just incited your fans into a riot.
Okay, let me finish. So then he gets up on the stage, says, because of your lame ass security, I'm going home, slams his microphone down and walks off. And then
that's it.
Everyone
the
riots,
riot.
Temper tantrum.
Well, no, he was charged with that. And I can't remember if he was found, but they were facing criminal charges for inciting a riot and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, but that's my point. Is like, I just was kind of like that riot. Like, was it just the fans got like crazy? Because we all know like fans can just do dumb stuff.
Well, no, people. Yeah.
But, or was it like...
It's a mix of both. I mean, he bailed, so people were pissed off, but...
Okay, I'm going to use an example, and I'm just trying to understand it, which you clearly explained, but I'm just going to use an example of where my brain is, and I'm not going to say specifics. We all know what we're talking about. But, a couple years ago, there was this person of a super authority who basically encouraged people that he knew listened to him to do things that they shouldn't do. We all know who we're talking about. It's fine. We don't need to get in details.
Yeah,
Anyway... Okay, I know, whatever. I probably have that wrong in somewhat. But I'm just saying it's like these people, like, all these people are there to watch him.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Okay. Yeah, I understand. No. I understand what you're saying.
I think it's semantics. I was using an example.
No. I think he has his role in that. I mean, he didn't say to anybody, "Hey, guys, let's tear this place apart."
I understand that. They're all responsible for their own actions.
You're in and out. It's a hyped up crowd. Everyone's psyched to see this band. They're super excited, and the guy bails after 10 minutes. People are upset. Yeah.
People in the audience have been drinking too, probably. Right?
Well, that's the thing too. Yeah.
But that's my thing. I'm not saying that the people that rioted in any situations aren't responsible for their own actions. Absolutely. If somebody tells you to jump off a bridge, you're going to jump off. You know what I mean? Like, as that example. But I'm just saying people who are in a position of authority that know that people listen to them just act better.
Well, no, and that's what I'm trying to get at is, yes, he was just, I don't think it's the same as what you're referencing what happened in, we're saying, hey, let's go and down here and stir shit up.
Using it as an example of somebody in authority.
Yeah, I know 100%. I'm agreeing with you here. But I'm saying, yes, and that's the thing. I think the band even tried to keep playing because they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know, but what are they going to do? He's the singer.
Well, no, other people can sing and stuff like that, but so they tried to be like, hey, like, this is not a good crowd. Like, this is, I think they could see that this is getting ready to pop off here. And
him walking off the stage wasn't a one-time thing, though, either.
No.
Like, well, no, and that's the thing. And that's what happened in Montreal.
Yeah.
Where there was another...
Metallica... was the headlining band, right?
Yeah.
It was a huge concert. Metallica and Guns N' Roses. Like,
they did a tour together. That would have been an amazing concert.
I would have loved to see. That would be insane to see.
I knew some people that I used to work with who went and saw it, and they said it was...
Metallica's on stage, and there's a pyro accident, right?
Yeah, James Hetfield got burned.
Yeah, so they had to...
Their show got
set early.
Cut off halfway through or whatever,
And then Axl comes out.
And then same thing. His voice, he couldn't sing or something like that, so he got like 3 songs in. And I don't know what happened, but his voice went out.
And that's
exactly. Then he walked off, and then was there a riot again? No.
Yeah,
there was a riot.
And then in that case, you guys are just assholes. Like, relax. Shit happens. The guy got hurt. The guy has no voice. What do you want?
Yeah, well, I mean, but look what people do. Like, when their sports teams win or lose, they'll...
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm saying
like,
people in crowds
are assholes. 100%. And every single person who participates in anything like that is responsible for their own actions. I don't care what or who does anything. You're responsible.
The concert my sister went to in Hamilton, because she kept that book, she actually had clippings from the newspaper about stories about the concert. In the middle of, I think it was in Paradise City, right at the end of the show, Axl Rose got smoked in the face by a lighter.
Oh, shoot.
And everyone's like, uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But he actually left, but then came out and finished.
Oh, wow.
But yeah,
just take a breath.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're human, and I know, like, I can't imagine going out on stage and, like, I mean, the photo thing was just he popped
Well,
off. But I'm just saying,
yeah.
say in that example of like where he go on stage to sing and 3 songs in, you're just like, shit, like I can't do this for like you physically just can't do it. Your voice doesn't work. And imagine like I mean that is like you'd feel terrible presumably.
Presumably, yeah. But I mean, Axl Rose had a history, and we haven't even touched on this.
And that's part of the problem, though. I think he grew a reputation.
Well, that's the thing too, because they went on, and as we're talking about Use Your Illusion tour, they embarked on an extensive Use Your Illusion tour, which lasted until 1993, and was marked by incidents including the infamous Riverport riot, which is the one we were talking about in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a note here: the Use Your Illusion tour was in tour. It was for 28 months. It's how long they were on tour for. I think it's one of the longest tours in history. Like it's crazy for
over 2 years.
Yeah, I know that they toured the shit out of that thing.
Okay,
so there's you're dealing with like then they had cancellations everywhere. So it's I can only imagine the mess that was going on there.
Yeah,
but then
you've got half your band that has massive substance abuse problems.
Yeah,
a lead singer that doesn't show up, exhaustion,
but
all sorts of crazy stuff. Like,
but
yeah,
then even peeling back the layers further, it's almost, and again, not taking any personal responsibility of anybody who is an asshole, but I'm just saying like band members, people, whoever, but you peel back the layers and it's like, they were just like for the record label, just, partly just work with like bringing the money. And the record label, I'm assuming, I don't know how it works, but I'm assuming the record label is the one that sets up the concert. Like it's not like they are setting up the tour schedule.
Yeah, they have.
Well, they have promoters. I'm saying they're driving it because they own them essentially.
Well, you got to pay back that money that they
right. So like it's like, dudes, like even if like they're like, no, we can do this. We can. It's just crazy. Like 2 years of on the road, like that's insanity.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I look at Taylor Swift, who's doing like basically it'll be almost like, I think she's had breaks, right? So she'll go on tour for like a month and do 4 shows a week, but then she has like a month or 2 off.
Yeah.
But like these guys are just probably like every other night, every night, every 2 shows a day. It was pretty much
It was. I can't remember how many shows they did. It was nuts, but
like that's crazy.
Well, I think that's also sort of part of the mystique of the band is that you didn't know what you were going to get when you showed up. Right?
Yeah.
Like, because if you
are you gonna get like an amazing show or a walk off?
The greatest shows you've ever seen in your life, Riot. I think, yeah. So I think that all just kind of added to this whole sort of weird mystique around the band that like, the whole dangerous band in the world. You just didn't know what the fuck was going to happen.
I would just be so pissed if you.
I would be absolutely livid. I mean, and first and foremost, like if you throw it at. Because you see it happening now. If you're at a concert and you throw something at the artist, you're a fucking asshole.
Of course,
don't do that.
An idiot.
Anybody.
Just don't.
You hear like I've seen videos of like Post Malone or these guys getting hit with like massive water bottles. I was like, don't throw stuff.
Well,
at the
that's why a lot of concerts
it's super dangerous and a terrible idea. And you're a jerk if you do it.
But that's why lots of concerts now. I know at least here when you go to a concert or a sporting event, you get a bottle of water. There's no lids on it.
Yeah. No, I remember last time. It's been a while. But yeah, I remember that.
Like you don't get lids on anything.
The amphitheater.
And it's like really because asshole people. I can't have a lid on my water bottle and have to risk getting like snot and spit or something.
Yeah. I know.
People just do dumb stuff.
People do dumb stuff. Like I was just thinking about Ozzy Osbourne because people feel like him biting the bat off of a bat on stage.
He's crazy,
yeah. People were throwing stuff at him on a show. He thought it was like a toy bat, and he like.
Oh, so he didn't really know it was a real bat.
No,
that's
what he said. His story is he has no idea it was a real bat when he bit the head off. He thought it was a rubber bat someone threw at him.
The same thing happened to Alice Cooper. It was in Toronto. Someone threw a chicken on stage.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, a chicken!" So he threw it back in the crowd. He thought it would fly.
Oh my god!
And they tore it to pieces.
Chickens don't fly, land in the crowd, and but they just got ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
Look, let's all be normal, like regular human beings with a personal responsibility to go out in public and watch an event and treat people with respect. That's it. You don't have to throw shit at them. You don't have to yell at them.
You're asking too much.
That's
I know.
right, yeah.
And this is why I get so enraged because it's like, all these riots that they had, like, I think some of them, more of the responsibility was on the band. And some of them, people just were like, yeah, this is a riot.
Yeah.
People were probably going to the shows just because they were like, let's get a riot going.
Potentially,
well, I mean,
no.
There's
People
always those
do dumb
people,
shit.
right?
I don't know nobody said it because people get drunk. You're getting hyped up.
Yeah.
Excited. It's a rock show, so it's the music is it's like the whole Woodstock '99 thing, right? It's that heavy rock music that just gets people kind of amped up.
It gets your blood going.
Yeah,
it gets a couple drinks or whatever else in you.
But
just they
sort
ruin
of a powder keg.
They ruin it for everybody.
That's right.
This is why we can't have nice things.
That's right.
It's true.
Damn.
But if you want to see some great shows that they did do, they did one. I watched this concert. I would say I watched it like every day for years when I was a kid. They did live from Paris, France. They did a pay-per-view event. So they did Steven Tyler and Joe Perry from Aerosmith come out. And they do Mama Kin, which is amazing. Lenny Kravitz showed up. Jeff Beck was supposed to show up, but he got sick or something like that. But it's a great concert. If you guys want to see what Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses at the height of what they were doing, check that one out. Anyone listening, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. They also did, another great one was they were the Freddie Mercury tribute concert they were at. That's another one that ended up on some of the live albums. That was in April 20th of 1992. Did you guys watch that? I remember watching that.
Yeah, I remember watching that
on Much Music.
Yeah.
Or shitty radios, or shitty music station.
It's not a shitty music station. It's just the baby version of MTV.
It's better than MTV.
He didn't say, okay, we're not going. He's trying to bait me. He's trying to bait me because he knows I will take the bait, and then it's going to go down a rabbit hole. Then he's going to get annoyed that it went down a rabbit hole, even though he started it. You're inciting a riot in me, Steve.
Oh, good
Stop.
Lord.
But I am going to be the bigger person and swallow my pride and not let you incite me.
All right, sounds good. So yes, the Freddie Mercury concert was April 20th, 1992. It was fantastic. They did Paradise City, Knocking on Heaven's Doors, and there's a great version of Axl Rose joining Elton John do Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's where that's from.
That's where it's
I've watched
from.
that clip all the time.
It's
with
amazing.
With
Axl comes
and
out with
Elton
the
John.
fireworks. It's
Yeah.
instant like goosebumps when that's
Oh
like,
yeah.
and it just shows you like, I mean, also they're at Wembley Stadium, so that's like 80,000 people or something like that. It's
Okay.
Perfect timing too for that, like the rock riff at the end, like dan dan, and then
it's
it
just,
just
and
pops out,
boom, and he just
yeah.
like spinning around like a friggin' top or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Okay, see, this is like, I lost my train of thought. And literally, I was coming out of my mouth, and it lost it as it.
You're probably you're probably not done with the previous
I'm
argument.
really not.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like
very
spinning.
upset about. I know you're coming in hot about Axl Rose.
No. I was giving him props. I was just saying this is like, this concert that you're talking about. It sounds amazing. I've never seen it, and like clearly Axl Rose is a great artist. Like, and his craft.
I would argue
he's
one of the
unique.
best frontmen ever.
Right.
Yeah.
He's unique. He has the personality. He's a front, like 100%. There's no denying that at all. And it's just like, okay, and maybe some of the, bad behavior he did helped with, their popularity or their vibe or their image, whatever. But at the same time, it's like you see this amazing concert like this, and it's like, why can't you just do this? Don't show up and be late.
I'm sure there's also stories back there about.
Oh, well, I'm sure
whether they
it
were
was
gonna
a shit
I think they
show,
were going to
but-
show up or not, and all this stuff. It was probably.
All sorts of drama.
I can only imagine, but watch the footage though, and they deliver.
Yeah,
it was
and
great.
that's the thing. Like, why just you guys are good. Just do what you're good at.
They were. I think they're a
He totally-
fantastic band.
When they're on top of their game, they're one of the best.
He
I think so. Yeah.
He totally thought I was going to shit on him, but I was giving him props, and it's just sad because, like, I think in a big case, like, egos are just such a thing.
Oh, I think so too. And like you said, there's all sorts of other issues there.
Right.
And I think the sad thing is that shit just takes away from anything they do that's worthwhile. Like, it just taints their legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone looks back and talks about the stuff that's really not that. There's other bigger things they should be talking about, how good they were and stuff. Not, hey, they were late for a show. And it just kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Usually tour went on for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Massive sales, huge band. After that, that's when everything starts to
Fall
come
apart.
off the rails
Just
there. Yes,
pure. I can only imagine they're probably sick and tired of seeing each other's faces.
I think that was
The
probably a
pure
big part of it,
exhaustion.
and then all the substance abuse issues and all this stuff.
Look,
and
what does it sound familiar? Like the same thing that happened to Bon Jovi after their big long tour.
yeah, exactly. So over that course of that tour, we lost. Steven Adler was fired. He was the drummer. He was replaced by Matt Storm. So Matt Storm replaced him. That was right before Use Illusions. So Matt Storm was actually the drummer there.
But
Okay.
is that whatever?
Steven
guy-
Adler?
Is he back now or no? He never came
No,
back.
he came back for a couple of shows. He had some. I don't even remember. He was on.
Celebrity Rehab.
Yeah. So I think he had some strokes and had some
Oh my
health
gosh,
issues
that's
and
so
stuff
sad.
like that.
Hopefully
So
he's okay now.
it seems like I think he's now touring as like a Guns N' Roses kind of cover band. Like,
Oh, that's
like he plays
cool.
the drums, but like I think he's got some singers and stuff like that.
Could you imagine? That's cool.
Yeah, it was good for him. He did come out for a few shows, I know, when they did their reunion tour, but I think it was just like a few one-offs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steven Adler left. Izzy Stradlin left. He did do some of the Usually in tour, and I think at that point he kind of had cleaned himself up and was just kind of like,
I can't be part of this. Yeah.
I'm over this. This is not my
Yeah.
jam. So he's kind of just faded off. I think I've seen him on like YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of, I know he put out some solo stuff and just kind of,
Yeah.
I think he just kind of faded off into the sunset. So he was replaced by Gilby Clarke. So that was kind of the lineup there. Then after the Usually in tour, that's when we kind of got the next album was the Spaghetti Incident.
This is when I first remember Guns N' Roses seeming not as cool anymore. Like I remember Spaghetti Incident came out and I'm like, ugh, this is just not good.
Yeah, it was. The Spaghetti's was like a weird one. It was just basically a cover of punk and glam rock covers, and it received mixed reviews and modest commercial success. Yeah, this was. I remember this one. The controversy was there was one of the songs was written by Charles Manson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see controversy.
Yeah,
on
I
that.
think that was like the. It was a. I think I want to say it was a. It might have been a hidden song on that album. I don't remember now. But it was all just like cover songs
That's
and stuff.
weird.
They had that. The one video came out was Since I Don't Have You.
Okay.
That weird one where like their Axel's driving with like the devil or someone out in the car.
Yeah, I
It was actually
I remember the song. It's not bad.
Well, even the album itself, like I mean, they're all cover songs, so some of them were catchy. They had no, that wasn't on here. It was Sympathy for the Devil, but that was one of their last songs. That was for the Interview with the Vampire soundtrack.
Okay.
They did a cover of Sympathy for the Devil for it, but I don't think that was on. I think that was not on this album.
Okay.
But so that was kind of the beginning of the end for them, like I said. By this point, Steven Adler was fired due to his addiction issues. Matt Storm replaced him. Izzy Stradlin left. Gilby Clarke. So then it was kind of after that, slowly, so that was in 94, 95. Slash left in 96, Duff in 97. By the end of the 90s, it was really just Axl Rose on his own, working on Chinese Democracy.
And really, at that time, like, that's when grunge kind of like was really.
By that point, yeah, I mean,
grunge is where music was at rock wise, anyways.
Yeah.
And like all those, the older rock bands, they were on the way out.
Well, that's the thing; they just kind of weren't seen as like cool by the younger kids anymore. I'm sure they still would have been fine. I mean, there was such a big band that I'm sure that I don't know. I mean, it's hard because you were replacing it wasn't like Axl was like the sole songwriter or anything. Yeah. So like there was a chemistry between all these guys that got them to where they were.
And I think one of their unique things, and I mean, I'm only going to speak about Slash because I don't really know the other band members, but obviously Slash brought a unique vibe to the stage too, right? Like he had the whole image and the cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's like badass.
Well, he was
zero Fs.
He wasn't just a guitar.
No.
He has if you listen to Gun, he does have to have his own sound.
So you but
he also has a look that you can't just replace. So
you take
see him on stage. It's like, oh, there's Slash.
Well, there was probably just as many Slash fans as there was Axl fans, right? It's people would go just to they liked Guns N' Roses, but it'd be like, I'm going to see Slash play because he's an awesome guitar player and he looks cool doing it.
No, that's like when we saw him on his own, he's.
I want to know how the hell he could smoke a cigar or cigarette and still.
I don't. I can only imagine how many times he burnt himself.
It looked like it was just literally hanging on by a thread in his mouth.
I know. Sometimes you see it's
wow.
No, it's a really good point. Like Slash was starting his own right.
Yeah.
He's still.
He guested on that Michael Jackson album, Dangerous.
Yeah.
I forget what song it was. Was it Jam? No.
No, I know.
A song he played guitar on one of Michael's songs on that album, and then there's this hilarious clip that you can find on YouTube.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, where Michael's telling him to stop the solo.
Slash is just rocking out. And
at a Michael Jackson concert, Slash comes up to play his solo on Michael's song.
Yeah,
and he's rocking out. He's just into it. He's just playing the song, playing the solo. And long after the solo should have stopped, he's still playing. And Michael's like, Slash, stop!
He's just screaming, stop! And the microphone. He's like, and you can see Slash laughing as Michael's trying to push it.
He's just ignoring him, but he's still playing.
Yeah, so that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But no, you definitely. I honestly think a big thing for Guns N' Roses was when they were on Rock Band.
Oh yeah,
I think that helped give them a real resurgence, especially Slash, because again with the top hat. I don't remember if he was on the cover of the game or not.
Yeah,
but the cartoon version of him with the hat and stuff, it's sort of he has a really unique look that he's kind of managed to turn that into something.
Yeah, he's his own brand. So
yeah, I mean, he's always been one of my favorite guitar players. I really like the way he plays, like the way he sounds. I think he's, he can shred. He does bluesy stuff, and I've always really enjoyed him, whether it's his solo stuff or whatever.
Oh yeah,
he's been one of my top.
And I mean, again, that talent of the cigarette hanging on by one little tiny fiber.
Yeah, that was always how he did it. I don't know.
Right, and it was lit too. He was smoking it. He was puffing it, but no hands left to the guitar.
Yeah,
it was just. I mean,
yeah, no, I don't know how he did it. It was one of his many talents.
Right? I mean, it's the weirdest talent ever, but it was still it's fascinating.
I know. What? I know. All right, so let's carry on here. So 1995, 96, 97, that's kind of the end of everything. They're done. Chinese Democracy, that was kind of, I remember, every so often you hear kind of rumors about it coming out. But the long-awaited finally released November 23rd, 2008.
Oh my God, that was a long hiatus.
I know, which is all scary that it was also in 2008, because I remember when that came out,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that long ago, to be
You're
honest.
I thought it was like 10 years ago. That's like
Yeah.
15-ish, almost 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You're
kind of
not
crazy.
young anymore.
So while it received generally positive reviews, it was considered a commercial disappointment relative to the band's early success.
Well, duh.
It's one of those things. I don't think it mattered
No.
what came out. It was never gonna.
As long as
it was
some.
never gonna live up to the hype. There's so
The
much
hype
like
and all this
mystery
stuff.
around the album and like
But wait a
expectations.
second. Let me just get clarity because I just want to make sure I understand. This album was just him, though, right? Not
Yeah.
it. So, I mean, the only way it would have had a chance in hell because of nostalgia's sake would have been if they all came back as the right band.
Well,
Yeah.
Then it might have been a little bit more like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah, so I got a little point here. So the album Chinese Demon, it took 15 years to make and is one of the most expensive albums ever produced. It cost an estimated $13 million.
What an
He's
idiot.
never gonna recoup that. That's insane.
Yeah, so that
What an idiot.
man.
maybe that explains why the London's Lifetime tour finally happened. That
You
Yeah.
need to make some
those
money.
those bills came home to roost or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, and like I said, there was so much hype around Gun, especially because of the way they went out, where they just kind of went out with like they just
Well,
kind of
usually
fizzled
that's
out
what
and stuff like
happens.
that.
They
Like,
just-
No, yeah, because like I think Axl wanted to take the band in a different route, more of like a
that was-
9 Inch Nails kind of
that's always
sound.
been sort of the
Ew.
rumor because there's
Yeah.
that one song on the Use Illusion 2, My World, the very last song, where it's this weird kind of techno-y
Yeah.
sort of thing. So people thought he wanted to go that way and stuff. And the funny thing is actually like November Rain was written before Appetite for Destruction.
Whoa,
That song had been around for years. If you listen to
it's part of their old catalog.
yeah, so it's kind of fun. Like so it's like people are like, oh, how much they changed for Use Your Illusion. It's like, well, no, some of the stuff was pre
Way before.
anything. It's just kind of, at the time it was like, this song doesn't really fit
This album.
Appetite, yeah. Because they put out I think they put out a box set at Guns N' Roses a couple years ago. I'm pretty sure it was a box set.
Yeah.
And they actually had some of the original versions of these songs that they recorded while they were doing Appetite.
Oh, okay.
So Chinese Democracy, like I said, I don't think it matters what came out if it's just
No.
Axl without anybody,
No.
and even if it was all of them,
But it would
After
have
that
a
much
little bit more.
it would have had
I feel like.
more credence to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem too. I think a lot of times people forget. Like I said, it wasn't just one guy writing
No.
these songs; it was all of them collaboratively.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easy to think I'm Guns N' Roses, I'm the front man, I can do it all. But when you take away those other pieces,
Well, I also feel like.
it loses something.
The band was the sum of its parts.
Well,
Yeah.
like I feel like it's like, when you like Guns N' Roses or you like Aerosmith or you like Bon Jovi, you may have a person in the band that you kind of like more or
Yeah.
whatever, but like you like them because of the group that they're in.
Yeah, the whole vibe.
Do you
of
know what
them
I
all.
mean?
Yeah,
like
and
it's
just-
not like, oh, I love Steven Tyler, but I don't like the rest of the band. No, it usually doesn't work that way. It's
No, and
kinda
that's
like,
the thing. And they changed a lot. Like I remember. Do you remember when they finally made their big triumphant return of Guns N' Roses, where it was just Axl at the MTV Awards? Do you
No,
remember that? Jimmy
no.
Fallon introduced him, but Axl came out. He had braids,
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
and
I
it was like a
remember that.
totally different. So everyone's just kind of like, "What is this?
Yeah.
Like, who is this? Like, what is going on? This is not."
This is not Axl
Yeah.
Rose. Yeah.
Or it's Axl Rose, but he looks totally different, and the rest of the band, it's like no one. They're all people no one knows, and it's just like
Yeah.
You're lucky if you can replace like a member again, depending on, especially when you got like
No.
someone like Slash, who's like, and even Duff, like these people
Yeah.
that like they're
Iconic
recognizable.
members. Yeah.
So to replace one, maybe
Good luck, yeah.
To replace the entire lineup and try and it's really
An entire
that's
lineup's hard.
That's hard to do, especially when they're all so iconic in their own right and what
Yeah.
they bring to the table.
Like-
to just try, think you can just
no.
you can just have hired guns.
Yeah.
is-
He really should have just not went with Guns N' Roses as the name of the band.
Well, I always thought the smartest thing that Duff and Slash and those guys did was like do like Velvet Revolver,
Yeah.
right? Where everyone knows who you are,
Yeah.
but you're doing something different. You're
It's a new
calling it
band.
something, and it's
Yeah.
completely separate. And from what I remember reading, that was always sort of their biggest bone of contention previous to their reunion was that just let Guns N' Roses be its own thing.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want, call
Close
it whatever
that
you want,
chapter.
but just don't let Guns N' Roses. It was a huge thing we did. Was just, it
Yeah.
was massive. Just let it live on its own.
Yep.
We'll
You
do
still
our
don't
own
make music
thing,
fine. Just call it something else.
Yeah, but that was one of the things during the during the Use Illusion tour. That's what happened one day. The guy showed up to go to concert, and Axl Rose was like, "If you don't sign over the rights to the name, we're done right now."
Oh my God. Put him
Yeah.
on the spot, huh?
Asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think he probably knew the value of all this stuff. So obviously they all signed it because they wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
and that's how they all lost control of it. Was that Axl owned the rights to the name Guns N' Roses, so he could do whatever he wanted with it.
Oh man.
Yeah, because he was like, if we don't sign it over now, we're
done.
I'm done. We're not doing the show. The
Jesus.
tour's over, everything. So
Damn.
those guys all signed it away.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, and that's where we lead to now, where the Not on This Lifetime tour in 2016, Slash and Duff rejoined the band, and they embarked on the Not on This Lifetime tour, which became one of the highest grossing tours of all time, which is kind of crazy. Like, so the appetite for Guns N' Roses was still there.
I mean,
That's
I
crazy.
think also too, because for all those years they just had like this little like teasing of Axl Rose,
kind of
right?
had, and they, you know, because like I said, you had Slash and Duff and these guys doing Velvet Revolver. I know Duff did a bunch of solo stuff. or Slash had his Miles Kennedy Conspirator, so they were out there still doing stuff. Axl was still kind of trying to do the GNR thing,
Yeah.
but, you know, not very successfully. So it was, everyone's kind of like, just put your shit aside, guys, and like,
Yeah.
Just get together.
yeah. But that was always that's why they call it. It was almost like Eagles, you know, that was the whole Hell Freezes Over.
I remember that in the 90s. Yeah.
You know, because they were like, well, you know, I think that was when I made the comment, when are you guys ever going to reunite? And they're like, when Hell Freezes Over, and
Here it is.
here we are. So that
Yeah.
was the same thing too, right? I think
They
Axl
also
is-
probably needed some money.
well, that helps too, right? But that was the same
Yeah.
thing. I think Guns N' Roses, someone had said, oh, you know, when are you guys going to reunite? And I'm like, not in this lifetime. Well, they
Not in this-
did, so that's
not in
why
this
they
lifetime
called
tour.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lifetime tour. But so yeah, so the band has continued, and I think they're still touring now, on and off. Like they're still doing it. The band has continued to tour successfully, both classic hits and new material. It became one of the highest grossing tours of all time, earning over $563 million.
Yeah,
That
they
is
have a lot of money.
Yeah,
insane.
I've seen it twice now. I bought tickets for the first time. Well, you and I went
Yeah.
with some friends when they came to Toronto for the first time, which
Yeah.
was awesome.
It was a good show.
Yeah, I mean, Axl, you know, his voice was not.
It's not what it was in 91, but
it wasn't terrible.
No.
Some of the higher notes, you know, like it was. You can tell he's struggling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the show itself was great. Like the band still sounded good. It was
It
a ton
sounded
of
great.
fun. And
Oh,
for
yeah.
me
And I mean-
personally,
They showed up, so
as far as I know, and I don't think there's ever been a late start
Right.
ever. So I
Yeah.
was shocked because I was kind of like, is that gonna be a thing still?
but maybe he's been humbled a little and he's older and a
well,
little more
I think
wiser.
sometimes
and
it's
just-
that
Yeah.
too.
The
You kind of
ego's
see a
in
little more
check.
clear and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
But anyways, but back to the show, you were saying like,
Sorry.
no, but I was just saying, like, I thought it was a great show and
yeah,
worth the. You know, I can't remember what the hell we paid for tickets, but it was definitely worth it. And it was, like I said, it was the first time finally I got to see them. Whereas my mom said, when I missed the usual show, you could see them next time. It's like,
yep.
20 years later,
You got your next
not
time.
even, but yeah, it was like, I'm finally here to see them. Yeah.
There we go.
So it was a good show. It was fun. And then I saw them again in Ottawa, sort of randomly got tickets to a show there. And they still played. I mean, crazy. Even for the show we saw, I think they played for like 3 hours. Like,
Long
it
show.
was long, right? The one we went to, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it was, they still put on a hell of a show and stuff like that for after all
They
those
played
years.
every song I could think of and more.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the thing too. Like they kind of played all their hits and, like everything. Yeah, it was a good show. So I'm glad we saw it. And it was nice to see. And it sounds like, I know they put out 2003. They put out 4 singles, but still no. I don't know. I keep hearing there's supposed to be a new album coming, but I don't know.
Nothing yet.
No, but they're clearly writing new songs. In 2012, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Axl Rose decided to decline.
What a butthead.
This is pre-reunion, so
Okay.
Okay. I was literally, when you were done talking for that sentence, I was literally
you're
going to
just
say
itching
something.
to yell at him.
No, that's the thing. You always think I'm not. I was literally going to talk about how, like, I'm really happy that this tour, like, it's kind of like, at least, like, he's come back as a little bit, I mean, lack of a better word, like, mature and, like, almost humbled. And, like, it was nice that they showed up, they performed, they, big show for their fans and all this stuff. And then you had to say that.
Yeah, but I said this is pre that stuff. So this
Okay,
is,
so I forgive that then.
yeah. This is
Yeah.
when they were still on the outs and stuff like that. He
Okay.
refused to show up for. I know he's supposed to be there and whatever.
Whatever.
But so
But I do think, like, again, now, like, it's just like a nice little fault. You start off, you're all powerful, then you get like bleh in the middle,
Yeah.
and then you kind of come back and you're like, because to me, it's like something super simple as like you show up to it's their job, right? That's
Yeah.
their job. You show up, you perform your heart out, you do the best you can, you give the paying audience members, worth value for the money. And you do anything less than that, and it's just like you're just being rude.
no,
People are
exactly.
paying
Yeah.
good money to see you. Some people are spending their last,
true.
$100 to see you. And
Oh
like,
yeah, no, totally. I think a big part of it too. I think again because it becomes such a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Axl being the head of it trying to run it, I think probably was maybe got overwhelmed by it.
Of course, there's a lot of factors. I mean,
like I remember hearing that because they played with the Rolling Stones, like after Appetite, they did a couple of concerts with the Rolling Stones, and then Axl Rose kind of saw how Mick Jagger basically was almost like the general leading the army, and kind of took a page from that book of like,
that's how I'm going to run this band.
Okay, I need to be. There's somebody in charge here. It's got to be someone kind of calling the shots, and
which is okay if you're good at it and can handle it.
Well, that, and I think if you do it over a 2-year, 28 months,
that's like, a little
nonstop, maybe it gets to be too much, and you get overwhelmed, and because it becomes a business. It's not like most things, right? That's always the double-edged sword of doing what you love. Your job becomes something you probably hate it.
Yeah.
Right? They always say don't do what you want for money.
But that's the thing, right? Like we all forget. It's like whether you agree with it or not, but it's like anything, like, musicians or actors or professional sports players, like their job is to go out there and do the thing that they're getting paid to do.
Yeah.
If any one of us didn't do our job or threw temper tantrums or whatever, we could lose money, we could get fired, we could, have disciplinary action. So it's the same thing. People just forget, like, they may enjoy doing it and love doing it, but that's their job. So your job is to show up on the stage for the people that paid money.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's it.
No, exactly. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I would be any band I want to go see. I'd be super pissed if they just bailed on the last minute. I'd be like, what the fuck?
No, but it's like you should be, disciplined for that. And like, I mean, I get it. It's but I'm just saying, like, that's if you think about it in that way, it's like just a little frustrating because it is their job. They might make a lot more money than we make at our little jobs, but it's still a job.
Oh no, 100%. Your job. It's a very cool job, but in the end of the day, it's still a job. You're being, it's like being an athlete, right? Or and that's sort of what they always say. Like living here in Toronto, like. We're not Leaf fans, but you hear plenty of it from the media and stuff like that, being like, if you don't like what if the team's losing all the time, don't go to the games.
Yeah,
that's the only way.
Money talks.
Yeah, but if you keep showing up to the games and they're always losing,
they don't care.
They don't care because you're still buying the tickets and stuff like that. So
that was the Harold Ballard years. But anyways,
but it's still now it's like people say just stay home, but So, anyways, we kind of went on a whole bunch of like waylays and random thoughts and stuff like that. But that was fun, though, talking about the history of Guns N' Roses. We kind of didn't get too deep into it that much. I wanted to try and do more of like a high level, just kind of
I mean,
go through the discography and like.
There's a ton of things for like, especially with like things that have such a like 30-year history or 40-year history.
There's
like
a lot of rabbit holes to go down and stuff like that to try and do it in a somewhat timely fashion of keep it like in an hour or something like that. We did a good cover of everything, but
comment below, let us know if you guys are Guns N' Roses fans, and if you are, what is your favorite Guns N' Roses song?
Oh yes, let us know.
Curious, because now I remember all these songs I didn't even know about. But that's it for today's podcast, guys. We really hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.